In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to do a chi-square test of association in a 2x2 contingency table. So we're going to look at some hypothetical data looking at the frequencies of panic attacks in first generation versus non-first generation college students. So first up is we're going to need to set up the variables. First variable will be let's say we'll call it outcome, so that will be the presence or absence of a panic attack. Second variable we'll call generation, and the third variable, which will be our weighting variable, we'll call frequency. The outcome will have two levels, so under values we'll put 1 as being panic attack, and 2 as no panic attack. And then generation, we can put 1 as first generation, and 2 as other than first generation. So I'll just put not first generation. We're going to data view, and we'll put in all combinations of variables in the 2x2 table. So we have all combinations of variables. Now we just need to indicate the frequencies of each. So in this example, first generation college students exhibited 25 of them showed panic attacks, and those who were not first generation, 8 of them had panic attacks, and of the first generation college students, 321 did not have a panic attack, and of the not first generation college students, 312 did not have a panic attack. Since we're doing this off of tabulated data, the data are already tabulated, we don't have to enter in each case separately, but we do have to tell SPSS to weight the cases based on our frequency variable. So we go to data, weight cases, and then weight cases by frequency. And once that's done, we're able to run our chi-square test of independence. So to do that, we go to Analyze, Descriptives, Crosstabs. We'll enter in generation in the rows column and outcome in the columns box. And we'll click Statistics to ask for the chi-square test of independence. Click Continue and OK. So our output they give us our observed frequencies, but more importantly we can look at the results of the chi-square test, which indicate that indeed we have significantly deviated from what would be expected under a situation where these two variables were independent of each other. So we'll delve more into where in this 2x2 contingency table we've deviated from independence by going back and computing the chi-square analysis again and asking for the standardized and adjusted standardized residuals. Those will give us an idea of where we have deviated from what would be expected under a situation where these two variables were independent of each other. We could also ask for the actual expected values for each cell in the design as well. While we're at it, since we have a significant chi-square, we probably will want to also interpret the odds ratio and the relative risk. So we'll ask for the risk. We click OK, and it will run the analysis again. This is the same analysis as before, but now we also have what's called the residuals, standardized residual, and the adjusted standardized residual. Those are usually interpreted as values around 2 or greater than 2 as being a significant deviation from what would be expected given independence. So we see that the first generation college students are seeming to exhibit more panic attacks than would be hypothesized under independence, and they're exhibiting fewer than what would be expected, um, fewer situations where there's no panic attacks than what would be expected under independence. And for the non-first generation, it's the opposite, where there seems to be fewer panic attacks than what would be expected under independence for the non-first generation, and more people who are not having panic attacks for the not first generation. So overall, it looks like first generation college students in this hypothetical sample are more prone to having panic attacks than people who are not first generation college students. So scrolling down, we also have an odds ratio. So this gives us the ratio of the odds for having a panic attack for the not for the first generation college students divided by those who are not first generation college students. So we see that the odds are about 3 times greater for the first generation college students to have a panic attack. Also, it gives us the relative risk, or the risk ratio, which is also about 3 times greater. So those students who are first generation college students are about 3 times more likely to have a panic attack than those who are not.